Hey everybody, it's James Tiernan, and it's time for another episode of Friday with Friends. Today we've got a special treat. I've got my dear friend Melissa Menard all the way from Los Angeles to come talk with us today. Hey Melissa, how are you doing today?
Hello, my friend. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to Almost Chicago and Friday with Friends.
So happy to be here, and we're coming at you from gorgeous Los Angeles, California, where it is a beautiful, sunny 77 degrees.
Ooh, beautiful, sunny 77 degrees.
Yes,
Well,
lovely.
today, the day we're recording, it's a lovely mid 40s, a little bit gloomy, but there's no snow.
I was
Um,
just gonna say, day of recording this time of year, 40s is like a blessing for you.
it is a blessing. There's no snow. All the snow we had was melted in the rains that we had over the last few days,
Yeah.
and some fog.
Well,
Lots and
I'll
lots
see
of
if I
fog.
can push some sunshine your way.
Well, that would be great. We really much appreciate it as long as it doesn't get stuck in the vortex and go up to Canada and get lost.
100%. I got you.
So, what I like to talk about is just tell us what's going on in the Los Angeles market. Tell us what part of Los Angeles you're in, so that if the people that I know are interested in relocating to Los Angeles, they've got a good idea of who to talk to and where to go.
Perfect. I would love to be able to share everything I know about the greater Los Angeles area. Starting off with, did you know there are 106 neighborhoods comprising the greater Los Angeles area? The city of Los Angeles, I should say.
Wow, no, I had no idea it was that big. I knew it was big. Chicago has 77 neighborhoods, but I don't think our neighborhoods are the same as yours.
Probably not.
Let's take a
Ours,
look.
ours are very diversified as well, though, I have to tell you. And part of how I become an expert in my uh, area, in my market, is a lot of times based on how long it takes to get there. So I don't know about your market, but in our market, we talk in minutes, not miles.
Oh,
And where you have dropped the pin, I'm going to have to take my glasses off for a second. Where you have the pin is exactly where my office is. But I actually live about an inch north of there. And it's actually, yeah, up a little more above that water. So I'm in what they call the Hollywood Hills. And
ah,
that's Mulholland Drive. That's, if you know Los Angeles
where the
lore.
Hollywood sign is, right?
Yes, exactly. The Hollywood sign and Griffith Observatory both sit on the mountain. It's the Santa Monica Mountain Range comprising the hills of Los Angeles. And so there are a lot of neighborhoods that I specialize in because I drive through a lot of those neighborhoods just to get from my office to home and back. And so basically, what I like to tell people is that I cover the neighborhoods all the way from the water, like Santa Monica, Brentwood, Venice, and east to downtown,
So
downtown Los
here,
Angeles.
all the way over here.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep, exactly. Not that far. But you'll see the Los Angeles. That's Los Angeles. It's Atwater Park, Glassell Park, Mount Washington, Eagle Rock, Silver Lake, Echo Park. All of those neighborhoods and a touch north.
The skill
Sorry,
Big Font can help you
that's
resolve. Did you
hilarious.
want to know
Did you trigger Siri?
Apparently, I did.
the skill can help you
Echo,
resolve?
stop. Does anybody else have that, or is it just me?
They're always listening, aren't they?
Right. And so that's about as far east as I'll go. And then from the north to south, I'll cover a good portion of what we call the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
That's the 101 runs along there. And I'll go as far as Calabasas, I'd say, Woodland Hills, Sherman Oaks, Studio City, Burbank. And as far south as Marina del Rey, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, those neighborhoods. So just south of LAX, which is at the water.
Okay, but not as far as Long Beach? Or do you
Definitely
go to
not.
Long Beach?
No, there are phenomenal agents that are pure experts in in the Long Beach communities, who they also have a number of neighborhoods comprising Long Beach. So it's really just because of where I live and where I work and how long I've been here, and I'm a relationship agent. So if you need my assistance to buy or sell, chances are I'll go wherever you need me to be. Some people are hard and fast. I will not go beyond this 1 square mile, and that's cool. I extend out a little bit further than that.
Yeah, and I do much of the same thing. If someone is fortunate enough to connect with me, I'm going to go wherever I can to help them within reason, right? I mean, if you think about Northern Illinois, I'm in the top corner between Lake Michigan and Wisconsin, so I'm not going to go all the way down to Springfield.
You going to go over to Schaumburg and Elk Grove Village?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. You going to go to Jarash's Bakery?
I can. I haven't been there.
Dude, the chocolate chip Danishes.
That sounds dangerous.
It is so dangerous. My Nana worked there for decades because that's where my family's from, the greater Chicagoland area. Yeah. So that's where you need to go. You need to try it.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. The market here is a little bit different than what you might see in Chicago, frankly, a little bit different than what you'd see across the United States. Whenever I first meet with clients, the first thing I tell them is, hey, listen, I know that the media headlines can be quite a capture, but just so you know, the greater Los Angeles area typically does not align with whatever the media on a national level is saying. So our market here, we were quiet, much like everybody, the last 60 days of 2023. Where some cold weather states tend not to pick up until March or April, we've already hit the ground running. We were, for all of January and the last week of December, I would say a lot of our clients and a lot of LA sellers were preparing their homes for the market. So we're definitely seeing an uptick in listing action. We are, right? The good news is that we are up year over year, 7% in terms of listings so far this year.
So the number of listings available to purchase? So the inventory is going?
Yes, as compared to last year, 2023.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's a good sign. We're seeing an uptick in applications, loan applications.
Okay.
And I'm seeing a lot more buyers coming back to me saying, okay, we're ready. Thanks in large part to the fact that we're seeing more listings and we're seeing lower interest rates-ish. I think people are finally getting comfortable with the interest rates in the 6.5, 7.5 range.
Yep.
And so their buying power they're pulling back on their buying power, which is nice. And I think we're going to see a really, really, really strong Q2 and Q3.
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Do you want to know, let's see, you can't really buy a house under $1 million here in Los Angeles.
In the greater Los Angeles, so nothing under $1 million. What does $1 million get you? Is that like a 2-bedroom fixer-upper? Or
it depends. It depends on the neighborhood because our neighborhoods are very diversified.
Sure.
$1 million gets you on the west side. I would say all of the beach communities: Santa Monica, the Palisades, Brentwood, Marina del Rey, Venice. Those neighborhoods, you can get a condo that is decent, 2-bed, 2-bath for under $1 million.
2-bed, 2-bath condo. On the 7th or 8th floor.
We don't have buildings that tall on the west side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So three stories.
Yeah, 3 to 4 stories are pretty typical.
Okay.
That will not get you a top floor.
Oh, I thought 7, 8 would be in the middle. The top floor is going to be more, for sure.
I didn't set the prices here in Los Angeles.
No. Yeah,
so,
no,
it's bonkers. I mean, but it's what at the end of the day, it's the destination. You might have a $940,000 condo, but when you walk out your door, you're 3 blocks from the beach and it's 77 degrees. So,
yeah,
right. I mean, it's the sunshine tax.
among other things. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, exactly. If you have, I'm helping families. Their budget is 2 million, and I am trying desperately to find them a house that is move-inable without too much change. It'll be outdated, and it'll be a 3-bedroom, hopefully 2 bathrooms. And schools play a large role in that. Walkability to the downtown areas, like there are what I love about Chicago is that it's so walkable. You can be in a residential neighborhood with apartments and condos and townhouses, and down at the corner is the great barbecue place. And we don't have that here. It's strictly residential. Our town squares are actually linear in nature. So we have in Santa Monica, we've got Montana Avenue, and it goes from 7th to 17th Street. And if you live within 4 to 6 blocks on either side of Montana Avenue, that comes at a price.
Right.
And people are willing to pay for that, to be able to walk to restaurants and coffee and juice bars and, you name it.
Yeah, and here it depends on where you are, but a lot of it is walkable. In the suburbs, and as you get further out from Chicago, obviously things are spread out more. But then each little town has their own little downtown, which is absolutely walkable for people that are lucky enough. But again, price is a factor if you want to live in an area that's walkable. The closer you are to the city, they've got great transit options for people. You don't have to drive if you don't want to. But out here in the suburbs, you get to drive everywhere you want to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here. We do not have fantastic public transit, but that does not come as any surprise to people. And so the further out you are, the longer your commute. And again, we talk in minutes, not miles.
Sure.
And that for people that are relocating, that's a process to learn, and that's okay. Most people have sticker shock unless they're coming from San Francisco or New York City, or in some cases, Miami.
Well, that's a really good question. Are more people moving to or from LA in general?
We have a net positive incoming.
Okay.
Just because we have such low unemployment here, and people are continually moving west. But read the national headlines and you'll see, oh, California is emptying out and everybody's leaving. No, not everybody is leaving.
Well, that is the national headline. Yeah. But
exactly. What they're not telling you is that, interestingly, and this is a fact from 2021, I don't have anything newer, 93% of buyers in Los Angeles came from somewhere else in California.
93% came from somewhere else in California.
Yes.
Okay.
And it could be the next town over, the next zip code.
Sure.
5% came from a different state in the United States, and the final 2% were international buyers.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I mean, we get people moving in and out and around the greater Los Angeles area. It's very common. And happy to give a warm welcome to anybody relocating to Los Angeles.
Now that's just the home buyer population. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of people that don't buy. There's plenty of people that rent. Mm-hmm. And I would think that a lot of people moving from out of state, everybody who has the Hollywood dreams are probably going to end up renting for a while until they make it rich. They get their big break, so to speak, and then they can buy the house on Wilshire Boulevard or Mulholland Drive, right? Once they get their movie.
Yeah. Exactly. Most people here tend to go from condo to house. Those that are relocating, if they've already owned, will move into a house if that's their that's their desirability. But we still have a lot of people considering condos.
Sure, and that makes sense. I mean, especially if you can get a condo a little bit more economically, closer to the beach than you can a house.
Sure.
And it's a cycle of life, right?
Yes, exactly. We don't have, sure, there's a market, but it's small for somebody who's looking for a pied-à-terre. They want that condo that they can come to from elsewhere. But we see a lot of primary residences here.
Okay. And what about the athlete population? There's a ton of athletes out there because you've got all the sports, you've got several different teams, and they're all spread out across the greater Los Angeles area.
They are. I've had the good fortune to have clients who work for the Rams, for the Lakers, and for the Clippers. I haven't helped anybody from the Kings team, but I am always welcome to do that because, frankly, hockey is the best sport on the planet. And what I found with those people, because it's both athletes and executive team and support staff, is they want to be closer, not to necessarily the stadium, but they want to be closer to the practice facilities. So that has a major impact on which community they're going to be living in. So we have a lot of basketball players in Playa Vista, for example, while a lot of the football players are out in the valley in Woodland Hills, Calabasas, Westlake, because that's where the practice facility is.
Yeah, no one ever thinks about that. Someone talked to me about that, especially with football, because you go to practice every day, but you go to the field, once a week as a football player. Mm-hmm. Obviously, in different sports, they go more often than football, but you go to practice every day, and you don't practice the same place you play unless you're a baseball player.
Yeah, exactly. And, those players call it work as well. Oh, where are you going? I got to go to work. And that's what it is for them. And anybody, no matter what you do, whatever line of work you're in, you want to be as, you want as small as a commute as possible if desired. So
no one I know ever wanted a long commute. Sign me up for a long commute. That's what I want.
Exactly. Well, and some people say I'm willing to sacrifice my commute time in order to have that 2-story, 3,000 square foot, 5-bedroom, 3-bath home with a yard and a pool. And that's okay too.
Or they're moving away from the city to get a better quality home life, right?
Yes.
And that's always a trade-off. Here, people can use the trains. They don't have to drive. There's plenty of commuter rails. Do you guys have any kind of commuter rails or any train options?
We do have several above ground trains. We are working on, we've got a light rail that takes you from Santa Monica to Culver City, which is the mid-city area, and then from Culver City straight to downtown. So that's been very helpful. We didn't get that Culver City to Santa Monica line until May of 2017. So that's still in its infancy. And that's helped tremendously, which helped drive getting another underground, a subway from downtown through the Wilshire corridor. And I think that will sink at the VA hospital, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that will go to the water. I don't think it will.
Okay. So is there another subway in the greater Los Angeles area?
Yeah, you've got some subways and above grounds in the downtown area, especially, and into the valley, which is north of the Hollywood sign, if you will.
Okay.
But they don't necessarily connect. They call it that last mile. I don't know. There's a special name for it where you have to get off the train because it terminates, and then you have to get on a bus for that last mile to get to a connector train to whatever your destination is. It's a little kooky. It's interesting because where you think, trains are great because it gets a mass of people somewhere quicker. In our case, it simply gets a mass of people off of the freeways.
Yes, that's absolutely the most important part.
But it's not much faster. And we also have a pretty good bus route here, but many people don't want to take it. It's not faster. It's just you're not driving. You can be doing other things. And traffic is still horrid.
Yes. Such is life.
I know.
So of all the people that are coming to the area, what do you think's bringing them in? Like outside of the Hollywood set, what are the people? What's bringing people to the area, other than the ocean and 77 degrees sort of thing?
People that are moving here that are wanting to live in California either have a life dream of living in LA, or they have a job associated with, of course, our biggest industry is we have now two. We have the entertainment industry and we have the tech industry.
Tech industry. Okay.
Yes,
In
we
LA, you've got a big tech industry.
huge. Yeah. Snapchat, Yahoo, Google has multiple campuses. We have essentially what happened was we ended up, Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
Up in
Everybody
Northern
thinks of
California.
that as the tech hub. No, I mean, I've never really heard of a tech hub in LA. So that's
Oh,
good.
it's called Silicon Beach.
Silicon Beach.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's been a thing for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And so that's primarily based pretty close to LAX, which isn't a surprise because you get a lot of those people wanting to travel across the country and north up to San Francisco.
Sure. That makes sense. It
Mhm.
makes it easy to be close to a hub. It's very convenient to be close to a hub.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And it's also pretty proximate to many of the studios, in particular Sony.
Now, there's a lot of integration with the tech and studios with CGI and all the animation that we've seen grow over the last several years, starting with Pixar.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, if you're coming to LA, it's because you want to be in the entertainment industry, regardless of whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera, post production, what have you. We also have Disney out here, and that has a huge draw, not from a standpoint of going to the amusement park, but from a standpoint of TV and movies.
Okay.
I
So TV and movies, because Disney owns so much, we
Yes.
forget how much they own. It's more than just a park.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Discovery, National Geographic. I mean,
ABC.
do they? I don't know.
Yeah, ABC. They own ABC and ESPN.
No, ESPN too?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm. All right. I'm really good at selling houses. Sometimes I'm not too familiar with that stuff.
It's
Is that bad?
it's just sometimes it's interesting to see how some of that stuff unfolds or how it grows, and who owns different pieces.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not too long ago, they were talking about the conflict between Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel, and they would just say, well, Disney owns both of them, right? Because Disney owns ESPN, and the show that they were talking on was the Pat McAfee show, and then Jimmy Kimmel's on ABC, and I mean, so Disney owns both of those entities. They don't own Aaron Rodgers, but he's on that show that he was talking on,
Right.
So not that they own Jimmy Kimmel either. It's just they own the programming.
Right. I mean, you can take a pretty big deep dive when you really think about it. Bring up a name and see how it traverses through and connects in every single way. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we used to think the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon was cool.
We still do. And to answer, I guarantee you somebody's going to have this question. Yes, I see celebrities all the time.
Ooh,
It's
who are
fun.
some of the big celebrities that you see all the time, or a regular basis, or your closest friends?
I've only been starstruck, meaning I could not speak in front of this person one time, and it was actually Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm a huge 007 fan, and I think he's a great actor. He's got a lot of sex appeal, and it just shines through in person, and I was speechless. It was
Pierce Brosnan, right?
Pierce Brosnan, yes. Now, what made me realize that actors were small people? I just, you see them bigger than life on the screen, right? And then I ran into Matthew McConaughey, and I had to look down at him. Now, I was wearing heels, so I was right at about 6 feet when I ran into him, but I had to look down at him, and I don't know. I'm not a tiny person. My shoulders are kind of. I could have taken them easy. I can tell you that. What's her name? She sings the Wrecking Ball song.
Oh, Miley Cyrus, right?
Yeah, she's delightful. Such a kind person. Just super nice. I had the pleasure of trying to find a very particular beer for Luke Wilson.
Okay.
I had oh my God.
What beer did you have to find?
I can't remember. Was it a Modelo? I don't remember what it was. But I know we didn't have it, and I had to send somebody out for it. I think it was actually a Corona because we had to find a lime too.
Yeah, that sounds like a Corona.
Yeah. I actually got a great book review in the line. I was at Barnes & Noble when they still existed in person. And I got a great book review from Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, wow.
That was fun. Just fun interactions. I'm trying to think of, I almost ran over Lisa Rinna because she was running into Starbucks in her 10-inch heels without looking both ways. So I almost backed up into her. That would have been
Well,
something.
she's a celebrity, so she doesn't have to look both ways.
Whatever.
Usually they're pushing away paparazzi.
But I am not at liberty to discuss celebrity clients because of course the NDAs that I signed.
The confidentiality that we all have for our clients.
Yes.
Yours is a little bit more extreme.
Yes. Yeah. It's entertaining. It is highly entertaining. They're just people.
Yeah. Do you get to take pictures with them at least?
I have a couple of photos. I have one with Dennis Hopper and I have one with Mr. T that I'm most proud of.
Oh, awesome.
Because I didn't know it was Mr. T.
You didn't know it was Mr. T?
He was really nice and I was nice back, and then we were chatting, and it was at Whole Foods, and the produce guy came by and said, "Hey, Mr. T, how's it going today?" And I looked at him, I'm like, "Mr. T? What? I need a photo." So I've got a photo. I'll send you the photo.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now I'm talking about the people like your clients. Do you get to take pictures with them?
No.
No?
No.
Should be like, like the restaurants, and have a picture, get an autographed picture that you put up in your office somewhere so they can see you're the realtor to the stars.
No,
you're just humble.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Yeah, but you could.
I totally could.
Yeah, there you go.
I would just feel awkward asking.
Sure. Yeah,
now if it were a hockey player, though.
If it was a hockey player,
I am all in.
All right. So, what's your favorite? Who's your favorite player? Are you a Gretzky fan? Because
I am a Gretzky fan. I am. He was a really, really good player. I had a mad crush on Chelios for a long time.
I think everybody did.
I know, right? My mom grew up in Oak Park, Oak Park, and babysat for the Esposito kids.
Oh, wow.
Yes. He came over. Was it Phil Esposito?
Yeah.
Came over, dropped off a 6-pack for my grandpa once years ago. I think it's harder and harder to find players that play with gentlemanly conduct these days.
Yes.
I think that's sad. But occasionally you'll run into good players that mean well, that do well, that want to exude that and bring that back, that kind of life back into the game. And you see that sometime in our business too, where you work with an agent on the other side and you say, yeah, you know what? I can do that too. There's room for my improvement. Or, hey, this agent did something that's just like what I do, and I admire that, and I'd love to work with more people like that.
It's nice to have a professional on the other side, so you know that you don't have to do all the work yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what are some of the things that you want the people that are moving to your area to know, if someone was to say, come from Chicago to LA, what are the three things that you want them to know?
Oh man. I would, first of all, when it comes to people relocating here, and I partner with a relocation firm as well. And so I do a lot of what I'm about to tell you. And I think whether you're relocating or not, it helps. And that is, let's have a conversation about each of the neighborhoods. Let's go on a neighborhood tour. It doesn't just have to be about the houses. Tell me about your lifestyle. Where you live isn't just the house you live in. It's about every neighborhood is an extension of your lifestyle. And so, at first it is, what do you want your commute time to be? What are your must-haves and deal breakers? And then what are your top 5 on your wish list? And everybody always says walkability. But ultimately, through the course of conversation and through the process of buying a home, you're going to find those priorities moving up and down the list. It's a very fluid list. And I'm sure that goes for, every family in any neighborhood USA. But with LA, it's important to recognize, one, traffic is real. Commuter traffic is tough. We talk in minutes over miles. 2, believe it or not, and this is a shocker to me to this day, and I've been here now for 26 years. LAUSD, LA Unified School District, which is the second largest in the nation, really doesn't have a bus system. Everybody
What? Everybody gets dropped off?
Uh-huh.
Well, no wonder traffic's bad.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Combine that with there are a lot of private schools, and they don't have any bus systems. So you've got a lot of people on the road that either otherwise wouldn't be on the road because they're just dropping off and going back home, or they're dropping off on their way to work, but then they wouldn't otherwise be in that part of town if they didn't have to drop off and pick up their kids. So there's a lot of that happening. And then
traffic's better on a non-school day?
Yes. Oh yeah. I would say 3 to 5% better. And that's in LA, all it takes is 2% to feel like the traffic is doing well.
Okay.
And that was a specific study done by LADOT. I was an elected official for the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. Wow. Sorry. And so I spent 4 years on the board, and part of my job was connecting with LADOT, and I had a specific liaison partner, and it was fascinating to me. That's how I know about the schools, the school buses, and what percentage of traffic, does it take to actually make things move a little more smoothly here in Los Angeles. And I learned all about lights and turning and no turns on red, and can't we do this and can't we do that? And just, it's fascinating. LA runs at optimal levels when there's on average 2 to 3% less traffic on the road.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can get more roads.
Exactly. We can't, and you can't get more houses. Another thing that I would tell people moving here is that we've already used up all the land. So there's no such thing as new construction here. If there's new construction, it's because somebody came in and bought an old house and tore it down, and a single builder built one single home that is brand new.
Interesting.
That comes as a shock to a lot of people who say, well, can't we just go further out and try and find, can I buy some land? The answer is no.
Where are you going to go? What's the next state?
Depends on the neighborhood. I mean, I can get you a nice, beautiful, raw piece of land in the middle of town, Beverly Hills. It's going to cost you $5 million. But then you've got to go through the expense of building a home and that cost.
Oh, yeah. Permitting and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In Santa Monica right now, to build a new home in Santa Monica, the permits, and this, I'm surprised by the number, but this might be normal, I don't know, is about $120,000 just for the permits alone.
Yeah, no, that's a little bit costly. That's more costly than here, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, there's no land. I mean, downtown Chicago, there's no land. I mean, the further out you go,
Sure.
There's more land, but not in LA, man. There's nothing.
And that makes sense. I mean, that's where everybody wants to be. That's where the population has shifted,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
so they bought up everything and they built it up. When you have population density like you have there, that's what you're going to have.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
So the three things we want people to know about: um, where are you going to live? What's your commute time going to look like? Because minutes over miles is pretty important,
Yep.
right? There's
Yep.
no new construction.
Yep.
And what's the third thing?
No school buses.
No school buses. Yes.
You'll see a school bus here and
There's
there. It's more
a few.
for, special needs.
Yeah. So
But
there's
no.
not really a lot of school buses, which would tend to get people to think, well, good, that means traffic's going to be better, because you don't have any school buses slowing down traffic because they have to take an extra 5 minutes to cross a train track. But that means you have, instead of 30 kids on a school bus, you have 30 parents taking their kids to school for each school bus.
Yes, exactly.
So
And I
maybe
would
we should,
say no public transit, lack of public transit.
yeah, maybe we should talk to Elon Musk about buying some school buses for LA to make the traffic better.
How I don't know. Is that the answer?
I have no idea.
You'd think that would be the answer, but you'd think that if that was the answer, somebody would have already done it.
Well, I mean, there's more to it than that. I mean, it just depends on what the school districts look like, and are people consolidated around a school, or are they really just kind of, you pick your own school within a 5-mile radius?
No, but if it's within a 5-mile, I mean, a lot of these homes are in the hills, and so you can't have these children walking. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, if you lived within 1 mile of the school, you had to walk.
Yeah.
1 mile here is a little bit different if you live in the hills.
That's true. Well, you're walking downhill most of the time until you go home.
I suppose it's half the time then. Yeah.
We just want you to walk downhill to get to school. We don't care about how you get home.
Oh my God. It's like amazing.
At least it's not snowing. You guys don't have snow days.
No. Rarely do we have heat days, and only in the last 10 years, we've had a couple of times we've had air quality days because of all the wildfires.
Yep, I remember those. Yep.
Yeah.
Because we had some of that too.
Yeah. Overall, it's a great place to live. There's always something to do. I've been here, like I say, 26 years, and I'm constantly discovering new neighborhoods. People say, oh, don't you think you should know your market better than that? I'm like, do you realize there are 4.5 million people in 109 neighborhoods here? And that doesn't even cover the separately incorporated neighborhoods. So
sure.
It's just a lot, and every part of it is magnificent, and every single neighborhood has its own personality, and having that initial conversation with any buyer is super important, because you get every conversation, every topic has some nugget of lifestyle attached to it. And based on that, we can not steer, but certainly recommend consideration of particular neighborhoods.
Based on the consumer's input, right? Whatever.
100%.
You tell me what you like. If you like ice cream, then we'll tell you about the 5 ice cream shops in this neighborhood.
100%.
But if you like pizza, we're going to go to a pizza place.
Exactly. Right? And P.S., your budget is going to dictate which neighborhoods we're going to be considering. And that's for anywhere in the United States. But a lot of times I have to tell people there aren't any neighborhoods that are viable for you in your target zone.
Yeah,
and that's a hard conversation to have.
Well, sometimes it's just easier to let people figure that out on their own.
100%. It's a process. It's a process. And that's where, that's the importance of understanding. Well, sure, I cover a lot of ground as a real estate professional, but I also have clients that if I can't get them in the bullseye, I need to be able to provide them with tier 2 and tier 3 options.
Absolutely.
Very clear on what that is.
Yeah. I mean, I know you want to live in this area, but your budget says maybe we should we should expand that search a little bit into these areas.
Let me say this. It doesn't really matter unless you are working East Coast hours or have a work from home. You're not going to want to live in Santa Monica and work downtown. It will be a painful commute for you.
Oh, sure.
And we're only talking 17 miles, which is from water to downtown.
You know what I really liked what you said a few minutes ago as you were talking about the different areas? You said every single part of it, it's unique, but it's magnificent.
It is.
And I love that because it just shows your passion for the area and the wide differences from one unique area to another, that you have a passion for all of it. And that's
100%.
the best part.
I love where I live. You got to love where you live. You got to love what you do.
Well, I appreciate your time. We've had a great conversation talking about all things LA. And we've got some things we need to talk about later offline, like where to get those great chocolate chip danishes.
Oh, Jarash. Rosch, Jarash Bakery.
But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for talking with me. If you have questions about the LA area and you're thinking about moving there, definitely want to connect with Melissa. Her information is right at the bottom. You can email her, you can give her a call, or better yet, you give me a call and I'll get you connected with Melissa because I know she's got a great schedule. And she will make time for anybody I send her way.
100%. You can count on it.
So thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you in Orlando in a couple weeks.
That's right. Excited to see you in person.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us in our conversation today. Again, reach out to me if you want to have a conversation about moving to LA or know somebody who does.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Thanks so much. Take care and have a great day.
You too.